Hi, this is Pastor Randall Neal from Zion Lutheran Church in Hopkins, Minnesota. And today is, Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. And I'm looking forward to spending just a few moments with you today for our weekly devotion. You know, we live in a culture today that just adores dogs and other pets, don't we? I don't think that's a new revelation to you. I read recently how much money is spent on dog food and pet supplies. Take a guess. Do you know? I mean, it just blew my mind. $72 billion in 2018. $72 billion on dog food and pet supplies. Wow. You have the giant superstores, right? Pet Mart that sell only pet stuff. You now have the online dog and pet supply companies that deliver gourmet food and other supplies, those boutiques right to your door. And you can't go anywhere nowadays without almost stepping on a pet of some kind, in a restaurant, a mall, a grocery store, and so on. Now, as I've shared many times, I live in the Minnetonka area with a neighborhood park in my backyard, and I know I love it. The trees and plants and birds and bees and coyotes and even mink and otter. Imagine that, mink and otter in the Twin Cities. It's quite a lovely place to live. And there's this great little walking path that meanders through the park. It's used quite extensively by the folks who live in the area. I'd have to say probably about 80% of the folks walking in the park have a dog attached to them. Now, I've gotten to know many of the dogs and the pups over the years, and many are pretty nice, even better if the dog owners would pick up after their dog. Yuck, if you know what I mean. Well, over the years, Elizabeth, Jessica, and I would do a lot of walks together in the park. Great family time. And Jessica would always be picking up sticks along the path, throwing them off to the side, and then on the way back, she'd pick up those same sticks and throw them back to the other side. We didn't stop her because she was taking care of the park. It was good exercise, and she enjoyed it. Well, over the years, it's been interesting to observe how the dogs in that park have reacted to Jessica, specifically to Jessica. She likes dogs, and she loves it even more when they lick her, often on the mouth. Trying to break her of that, but So, without exception in the park, every dog owner would tell us how their dog wouldn't hurt a fly. What a wonderful animal it is. And yet, over and over, some of those dogs would lunge at Jessica and growl. We never could figure out, is Jessica giving some kind of an aura about her? We don't know. She wasn't being mean. She wasn't doing anything. She hadn't done anything. So we learned to be very cautious with dogs when Jessica was around. We never knew what kind of greeting she would receive, a love or hate one. I remember one time as we walked in the park, we encountered a cute little black and white dog owned by a smiley, friendly soul from the neighborhood. She was a pretty pup. Well, this particular dog, every time that we encountered it, would run the other way and cower at the legs of its owner. No matter how gentle, how friendly you were to her, she didn't want to come out of her corner, especially for Jessica. Now, Elizabeth and I thought, strange dog. Strange dog until her owner explained that Pixie, that was the name of the pup, Pixie had been terribly abused by her first owners. So when she saw people, she saw pain. You couldn't understand the way that dog acted until you knew her story. Well, here's my point this morning, friends. People are like that too. You watch how they act, and how they treat people, and you see that attitude that they may have, and you say, forget it, buddy, or you respond with the same garbage that they dished out to you. But the make a difference people in this world, the healers, they're the ones who never forget this critical issue is dealing with people. You can't understand the way they act until you know their story. And everybody's got a story. Well, that's the kind of radical love that God is calling you and me, my friends, as Christians in Ephesians 4, beginning with 29 to do. He says, do not let your unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs. In other words, here's the takeaway. Don't say things that will tear a person down, only things that are going to build them up. Why? Because you're focusing on their needs, not just their deeds. Now, you may hate their deeds, and oftentimes correctly so. But God is asking you to develop His compassion to respond to the needs that drive their deeds. Now, whether that person is your child or your spouse, maybe your parent, your friend, your coworker, someone at church, if you knew their story, perhaps you'd understand that they've been made to feel worthless much of their life. So they make choices based on the fact that they are trash. At least that's what they're thinking of themselves. Or maybe they treat other people that same way. Maybe their story includes some awful hurt that has turned them hard so they won't get hurt anymore. Maybe there's some morally dark chapters in their past that can make them critical and legalistic today because they hate what they used to be. They may wound because they've been wounded. Well, somewhere behind the way they act is a story, maybe of a perfectionist parent, trust lost because of abuse, the absence of a father's love, abandonment, failure, tragedy. The list goes on and on and on. So the Bible tells us this: get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. You see, that's our response to their deeds. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other. You see, that's how we'll respond if we operate trying to understand there are needs beneath those deeds. There's a history behind those hang-ups. Now, one thing I can tell you from a lot of years of learning what's really inside people, when a person is hardest to love, they oftentimes need your love the most. And that's when you ask Jesus to release His love through you, because your love just isn't enough by itself. React to their bad attitude or their bad treatment, and you can be just another person who just wounds an already wounded person more. Respond, however, with mercy and the grace and the compassion that you got from Jesus, and you can be part of a healing that wounded person. Because everybody's got a story, my friend, and you can help write a new chapter. Thanks for being with me today. Thanks for listening. Look forward to seeing you the next time.